How do you view your commitment to your partner? How do you conceptualize your commitment outside of the emotional reality that exists between you and the person that you're with? I've had this conversation several times with my partner, with my girlfriend, and I want to share it with the internet because I think it's something that's useful. So, the way that I conceptualize my commitment to her outside of the emotional reality that exists between us is not simply that I love her, but that I'm obligated to her. Now, when I say this, it comes off cold and callous and calculated, and some people, when I have had this conversation with others, they don't like this version of what I'm saying. They think that it takes away the romanticism, and they are absolutely correct. The romanticism to me of relationships is why most of them fail. That's a topic of a different video. I want to stay on topic here. I conceptualize my view of my commitment to my partner as an obligation because an obligation to me, when I give my obligation, it takes away the subjectivity. It takes away the opportunities for me to be spiteful, to be vengeful, to be all those things that are negative. See, if I'm obligated to you, that means if you need me, I have to come, right? If my commitment is based off love, I could stop loving you. And then, I'm not going to help you to the same level. I'm going to be falling in love with somebody else. But if, for me, when I language it as an obligation, it becomes something different. See, an obligation is what it is. There is no levels of intensity to an obligation. You're obligated or you're not. With love and the emotionality that comes with it, there's this intensity, these peaks and these valleys. You're madly in love with them, and then you're just in love with them. And you've probably heard people who've been divorced say, I love X or Y, but I'm no longer in love with X or Y. To me, this is different because when you are committed to someone and you frame it as an obligation, you can do for them what needs to be done and be a great partner to them, even when the love is not as strong as it once was. So this is something I think will help. So when you speak to your partner and you guys are deciphering or trying to figure out the intensity or the level of commitment each partner has, this is something that I think you should give some thought to. Is not just do I love you, but how serious do you take your obligation to me? Because, and I'll end the video pretty soon here. I got probably only a minute left to make this last point. The reason that this is important is because you may be young and beautiful now, or you may be old and beautiful now, but no matter what, your life is fleeting. Day by day, you get closer and closer to no longer living the life that you live, which is why you must take all opportunities presented to you. The point here is that, will you still love me when I can't do the things for you that I do now, right? For a lot of young people, they don't realize that the spontaneous dates and the passionate lovemaking, all of that is going to cease eventually. And will you still be obligated to me? Will you still be here for me? And for a lot of people, unfortunately, the answer is no. So, to close, when you conceptualize your commitment to your partner, I would like for you to not just think about the emotional reality between you two and the love that you possess, but I would like you to think about your obligation, because that's where the work is, that's where the difficulty is, and that's where the most turbulent aspect of relationship lies, is that obligation. For me personally, when I get my obligation, that is what it is. Whether I like it or not, I'm obligated to you. Whether I'm happy or not, sad or not, if you're hungry, I'm going to feed you. If you need me, I'm going to be there, no questions asked. And that to me means more than you saying you love me but stabbing me in the back. I would rather have a deeper obligation than someone who's madly in love with me. I would rather have somebody who is obligated to me, or who feels a personal commitment through obligation to me, rather than someone who's just madly in love with me. So I will end there. Just something to think about.